Hi everybody, it's Rachel here from rachelthestamper.wordpress.com, and today I wanted to show you a really pretty card that I made using the new Thoughtful Branches bundle tongue twister. This is the stamp set, and then it also has, if you get the bundle, it has a bunch of thinlits, and I'm going to show you a couple of them. This will cut out a tree, so you could use the tree base and the tree top. Or you could switch this out and make this into a hydrangea. Or you could switch out that and you could use this is the tree trunk. So you could use the trunk with that. But what I have done, I'm going to show you. Let me get this out of the way. I kind of did a little bit of this stuff but I also am going to put some of it together as we go. And I'm so happy to say I finally got, let me show you. Finally got my big shot. I'm so excited. I love it so much. So I don't break anything here. I did get the magnetic platform with it because I thought that would be really helpful with all the framelits. It's so fun to use, so easy. So I hope to show you guys some new things coming up with that very soon. But again, a lot of this stuff I pre-cut because it was a lot of cutting, so I didn't want you to have to suffer through watching it. So I also used the new layering squares framelits, and these are nice because it has solid squares and then has squares with a little bit of a scalloped edging on there. So what I did is for this card I used the largest square and then the largest scallop square. So you're going to see how in a minute. So let me get a couple of these things out of the way and I'm going to show you the card. Whoopsie. Okay, so for this card, I did, like I said, a lot of it is pre-done, but you'll still get the gist of it. So I'm going to be using a base, and this is a fall style card, but you could change it to anything you wish. So I'm going to be using a base of Garden Green, okay? And this is a 4 1/4 by 11 piece. We're going to score or fold it in half at 5 1/2, so that's going to be our base card. And then I have a piece of Whisper White. We're going to use this for the inside as well. We're going to need another piece. And then we have a piece of Pumpkin Pie that we're going to be using. And this is the scallop framelit. I actually already cut this piece out. This is in Sahara Sand, so we're going to set that to the side, but we are going to cut. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And then I did cut out the tree. That is in Early Espresso. And I also cut out the leaves, but I'm going to show you how I did that. And I also cut out a little tiny bird that we're going to put on there. That is in Cherry Cobbler. So I'm going to show you, first of all, how we're going to cut, and then we'll get to the rest of it. Let me just move a couple things out of the way so I don't break anything. So for the new Big Shot, you do get cutting pads that come with it. You get a base plate to use with it. I just really wanted to try out the magnetic platform, so that's why I bought it. So when you're doing this, you also could use, if you like, the precision base plate, and that kind of eliminates you using one of these plastic. You'll just use one on top instead, and you cut into this. So if you do that, you will put it face up. This works really well if you're using the really thin die to cut out. Where did it go? The tree. Gives a really nice cut for that. So we're not going to use that for this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our pumpkin pie piece on here, and we're going to decide where we want our window to be. So I'm going to go a little bit up in center. I think that's pretty centered. Okay, so, oops, I forgot my cutting pad. There we go. All right, so we're going to just crank this through the Big Shot. Oops. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. All right, so here we have our square, so it cuts that out perfectly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to be using this as a window. Okay, so we're going to take our Garden Green piece and our Whisper White piece, and we're going to use some Soft Sky ink. So what you do to get that puddle is you squeeze it together and it creates a little puddle. And then we're going to use our aqua painter just to give a little bit of a sky, so this tree isn't just floating out in the middle of nowhere. The more you squeeze your aqua painter, the lighter it will make your color, because it will dilute it. So I like mine a little bit because Soft Sky is pretty light anyway, so I didn't really use the pen too much. Just kind of used it to apply the ink. Okay, so that's nice. And you do want to remember every time, we're not going to switch colors right now, but every time you want to squeeze out your pen so you can get rid of your colors. Okay, so we're going to let that dry for a moment, and then I'm going to show you how I made the tree. So this was quite simple. I'm just going to get a scrap piece here. Let me move a couple of these things out of the way so I don't ruin anything. Okay, so I took the tree, the leaf part I should say, and the nice part about this is it has an arrow facing up, so you know which way to put it up. Also, the matching framelit has an arrow facing up, so you know which way to cut. So what I did is I put this, so I can find it. Okay, I put this on a clear block, just like so. And then what I did is, I'm going to just give you an example here of a couple colors. I did the crushed curry. Let me squeeze the pad. Crushed curry, and we'll go with garden green. And I won't put any red in this one. We'll just do crushed curry, garden green, and pumpkin pie. Okay, so I had those three colors. And I kind of went in descending or lightest to darkest. So I just put some ink on here and I kind of just went over it. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Then I went to the orange and I filled it in. Same thing here. So this is kind of neat because every single card you do is going to be absolutely completely different. Clean that off. And then I went with the green and I kind of just splattered around a little bit. Or if you're doing a more fall card, you could do, you know, the red. I did a couple different ones. So, okay. And then so you just clean off your pen here. Okay. So then you don't really even need to huff on it because it is pretty wet. So you just flip this over and press. And I really should have a pad down here because this is a photopolymer stamp. You always want to try to use your Stampin' Pierce mat for this, but we'll give it a second to go. Okay, and this is what you end up with. Now this didn't turn entirely to orange, so you can fill it in if you like. You could add a little bit more color, but it's a pretty color because it's kind of like the tree is turning. So then the only thing you're going to do, what I do with it, is you would take, again, this would be great for the precision base plate as you're going to put. So here's the top up. You're going to sit this right here. You can see the image comes through, so you can kind of eyeball where you want it. And this is also really helpful if you use the magnetic platform because it's exactly where you put it. And you're just going to cut it out. Okay. So then what you're going to end up with is, let me get these little buggers out of the way so I don't ruin my project. All right. So you're going to end up with this. And it was really pretty because it was really very, very watercolory. I really liked it a lot. So what I did is I have a silicone craft sheet here, and I put, so what I did this two different ways. For the tree, I used the fine tip glue pen. Fine tip glue pen. Yeah, that's right. I thought I said that wrong. And I just put some glue in a couple spots. I didn't really over glue it, just enough in a couple areas. And then, oops. Be very careful when you put this back in. This is my first time using this. Okay, if you hold it, it's easier to slide it in. So then I just took my leaves and I kind of put them right on top and just pressed. And what I did is I let these sit overnight before I attached my large bunch of them that I did. Okay, So then we're going to flip this over. So now the only thing you have to do is you have to make sure where you want to put your tree, okay? Because you do want your tree. The other thing you could do, sidebar, if you wanted a bigger square, so if you wanted to be able to see more of it, you could just move your square down and recut, make your window longer. The only thing is your framelit won't fit around it. So that's certainly an option. So if you want a bigger window, you just move it down and cut it again, and it'll trim out this little bottom piece. But, so what you're going to do is you just have to figure out where you want your piece to be. Okay, so you kind of have to eyeball it. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to use the Always Artichoke, and we're going to put in these really cool, it's like little grass lines, I guess, tree lines. There's a little spot on here where one of the other trees will poke through if you want to put it that way. So I just kind of put these here just to give that wavy field look. And I did 2 of them. I just flipped them around direction so they wouldn't be the same. Okay, so there's that. And then the other thing you can do if you'd like is there's a little grass. Looks like little grass that got mowed. So I'm going to just stamp this off once before I stamp it, just so it's a little bit lighter. Okay, so that gives you just a little bit of added dimension. You don't have to do it, totally up to you. Okay, so the only other thing I forgot to tell you is, and I did this before on one of my cards as well, is you want to make sure that I had a little bit of an edge around this. Okay, so this is 4 1/4. So what I did is I had it so it matched up. So you don't have to. You can have it so it completely covers the card, like that. Or you can have it so you have a little bit of an edge showing. So I'm actually going to do that. So let me just grab the Stampin Trimmer real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim it off to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball and trim up both sides just a hair to get it to 4. And then we'll just take more off the bottom for the 5 1/4 portion. Okay, so there we go. Let me get that out of the way. So now this is going to make a layer that exactly matches up with the white. So the only thing we have left to do now is just some attaching. So we're going to use some SNAIL and glue this down. Okay, we're going to put this here. The only thing you have to decide is exactly how you want your tree to show, because you are going to need to trim it a little bit. So what I did is I kind of sat my tree and then I looked at it here and I think this needs to come down a little bit. You can even tilt it slightly if you like. So I'm going to just go ahead and trim off just a bit of this on the side. And I just took a hair off the top too, because you're not going to really see it anyway. Okay, so that's going to end up going there. Before we get ahead of ourselves though, we're going to take some mini glue dots and the paper piercer, and I put 1 glue dot on each corner to get this to fit. It is a little bit snug of a fit, and it kind of just rests. This is also completely optional. You don't have to do this one if you don't want to, but I thought it kind of gave a nice framed look. The other thing you could do if you have, instead of using the square framelits, I don't have it, but you could use the, I think it's called the Hearth and Home, that has the little window frame and the window. You could use that too. That would look really adorable on this. So you kind of are just going to set this here gently. Again, because it's not huge covering, it's just barely covering. So I set it, and then I kind of made sure I had it on the outside. I just made sure the way it was lined up I liked. And I kind of just pushed the glue dots so they would stick to the corners here. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some dimensionals here. That'll just give us a little bit of extra insurance for those of us like me that are worrywarts. And I cannot remember who it is, but someone on my YouTube channel gave me the idea to use your fingernail and kind of push down on these. And let's see if it works. It was working earlier, of course, when I wasn't on camera. Oh, there's one. Gets these little peeling backings off. A little bit. Well, not on that one. That one just doesn't want to come off. But thank you very much for the tip. It definitely has helped me, even though it's not evident in this video. Could be because I'm using 8,000 dimensionals. All right, one more. But it was a good tip. Just had to practice off camera a little bit more. All right, let me get these out of the way. Okay, so once again, we're not going to put that down yet. We're going to keep that facing up. We're going to flip our tree over, and we're going to put some snail. This is using the silicone mat so it doesn't stick to everything. And this also is going to help the tree to stick, the front and the back to stick together as well. So I kind of just sat it. I didn't press it. I sat it where I wanted it, and please pardon my head. I just want to make sure that that looks nice. Okay, so then I just pushed the dimensionals and I just gave the tree a little bit of a push down. Okay, so there's your card. Looks really pretty, but we're not finished yet. What I did was, let me see if I can find. So I had all these little pieces left of, you know, these little squares that I cut out. So I thought it'd be really neat if maybe we put a little greeting there and I backed it to the opposite color. So that's what I thought would be fun. And I did a little bit of a whoopsie here, but we're going to trim that off. And I'm also going to show you the other thing I did, that if you do a little whoopsie, you can kind of cover up. So, darn scissors are very sticky. So I just held this up. This is just a piece of the square from one of the other ones that I did. And I just trimmed it just so it was kind of, I guess, about 1/8 of an inch on each side. Okay, so that one already has one. I used the triple banner punch, just flipping it upside down. I kind of just eyeballed where I wanted it. And let's see what that looks like. Perfect. Okay, so the other thing we're going to do before we finish, I'm going to adhere this to here. Okay, and then I'm going to take the crushed curry ink and find the sponge. And I'm going to just sponge the edges, give just a little bit more dimension. So just covered up that little mistake there. And then the other thing is I just kind of went over it a little bit just to give it a little something there. And then my final touch is I ordered this burlap ribbon, which is so nice. I really like it. But I do find that I want to put it down with a little fast fuse. So I just used some. Let's see if I can get it going. Fast fuse. Oopsie. Well, and also, if you haven't figured out the trick to fast fuse, I think the main problem that all of us crafters have is we're used to jamming on all of this snail really hard, and you have to be really, really delicate with the fast fuse. So if you have a lighter hand, it actually works out better. Okay, so I just laid this ribbon on top, and I'm going to get my better scissors out so I can cut this. Okay, just like that. I'm going to put these up on some dimensionals. I know, dimensionals again. Maybe this one will go better. Just add a little fingernail mark there. Or maybe not. Oh goodness, once more. Come on, Rachel. You can do it. And then I'm going to just lay that right there. So I thought this was a really pretty saying for anyone. Your kindness makes a difference. And of course, everything is better with a little bit of Wink of Stella. So I'm going to just see if I still have some in here. Yep. I'm going to just do a little bit over the trees. The other thing you could do is before you put this tree part together, you could have sponged the edges with a little bit of green, but I really liked the washed out watercolor look. Thought it was really, really pretty. You can totally see the different layers of stuff in the background where we stamped those little hills and just the little grass, which is really pretty. And the other thing I have here is just a little bird, and I just stamped this little bird in Cherry Cobbler. I'm going to just put him on a glue dot and stick him right there as well. And then while we're at it, let's go ahead and finish the inside. And hold on, I seem to have run out of paper. Let's shimmer white, but we can use that. Alright, so I'm going to just trim off a piece to 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, one more. And your kindness makes a difference. So let's look and see what's inside this stamp set that we haven't used. Oh, you've always been there to lean on, to learn from and look up to. Take it one step at a time. Let's do that one. Take it one step at a time. Yeah, we'll do that one. Sorry, I was having a thinking moment there. Let's go here. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and get out this little leaf. Maybe we can stamp that little leaf. And why not an apple? We'll add an apple. All right, so we'll go ahead and get out the Real Red and the Garden Green. So let's do these two real quick. I'm going to do the leaf first. I'm going to just kind of stamp a couple of them around. One more up here. Okay, so there's that, and let me just grab the apple, a little Real Red. Okay, cute. And we'll do our greeting in basic black. That way it's definitely very noticeable. Okay, so again, that was Garden Green and Real Red we used on the inside. We definitely used a lot of colors on this, and it was a lot of fall colors as well. All right, and I didn't put this in yet, just in case I completely botch it up. Give me somewhere to fix it. So let's put that right in the center. A little crooked, but that's okay. No worries. All right, let me just put a little bit of snail on here. And that's it. So I hope you guys like this card. It was a lot of fun to make. This is a really fun one. Just has a lot of dimension to it. I think it's a really pretty fall card. I know it's a little early to be thinking fall, but you know, sometimes when it's 108 with the heat index, you kind of wish for the crisp fall breezes. But let me know what you think about this card. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts, or what you might have done differently, or if you've tried it with that other window set. Like I said, maybe you got a totally different version of it. So you can leave me a comment here on YouTube. I'm at Rach the Stamper if you haven't already signed up to follow me. You can go to my blog and leave a comment. That is rachthestamper.wordpress.com. If you'd like any of this stuff and more, I would love for you to shop in my online store at rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Your support is what enables me to be able to make these videos for you by purchasing things from my online store. So if you haven't already, I'd love for you to go there. I really would appreciate your support. So thanks for stopping by to take time to watch. I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.